Welcome back, Biotechnicans. Today we are going to see a very important video, keeping in mind that your CSIR NET results are already out. Yes, the next step, which is the very crucial step, interview and admission process after qualifying CSIR NET exam. First of all, those who couldn't get through the result, don't be disappointed, don't be disheartened. There is a next time always, and the next exam is pretty soon around the corner. So without any delay, take Biotecnika's help this time and start preparing immediately so that we can help you qualify the next exam for sure. And for those who have already qualified the exam, a big congratulations to all of you. Check out this video properly in detail till the end to know about all the detailed description and processes which are involved now once that you have already qualified the exam. So the two types of CSIR NET qualification, what are these? The exam is conducted for the certification of one Junior Research Fellowship, that is JRF, and another one for Lecturership. If you qualify for JRF, you will be able to get a fellowship amount, and that is, yes, you will be getting some scholarship. You'll be getting a monthly stipend in the form of money in your bank account for your research work, as well as post of assistant professor in Indian colleges and institutes. If you qualify only for LS, that is lecturership, you will be eligible to apply for teaching positions, that is assistant professor in Indian colleges and universities. For teaching positions, you can be eligible for that. Now, there are some phases for CSIR NET selection procedure. Candidates preparing for the upcoming CSIR NET exam must also be well versed what is the selection process of the exam in case you are already not. So the entire selection process of CSIR UGC NET exam consists of the following 5 stages. Have a look at the notifications. You can be subscribed to Biotecnika Times, and we will be releasing in our newsletter any such notifications that come for the CSIR NET exam form filling. This is the exam form fill up. So once you are done with that, they will announce the date. You'll get the admit card, the date of the exam. You have to appear in the single MCQ test and qualify it. Once you've given the exam, you have to wait for a few days. In fact, this is now in less than a month, the results are out generally. So once the results are out, there will be announcement of the merit list, after which there will be an interview process, obviously after you apply to different institutes. And the last is the activation of your JRF once you submit all the paperwork that you have been already enrolled in JRF position in a particular institute. Let me take you through detail for all of the steps except point number 1 and point number 2, because we are dealing with the later half once you already qualify the exam, what is the procedure. So directly jumping on to stage 3, that is announcement of CSIR NET result. As I mentioned, the merit list will be published. It will be made on the basis of the performance of candidates in the CSIR NET UGC exam. Yes, there is a cutoff which is mentioned. If you are above the cutoff, then you are said to be qualified, and the cutoff will keep on changing and varying in every exam. Exam to exam it will vary. So depending on the cutoff, you can find out, anyways you'll get the result, and after that the merit list will be prepared. Now one merit list will be there for those candidates who qualify for the award of JRF NET, and the second merit list is for the candidates who qualify the eligibility test for lecturership. And a merit list will be made on the basis of this performance as per the conditions of the selection procedure which is set by CSIR. The top students, they will be selected for the final merit list which is made, right? So according to that, you have JRF LS, which is provided by either CSIR body or by UGC body. Both of these bodies, they function little bit in a different way. I'll be telling the detail of that also. Award of JRF, you will be getting the JRF amount by CSIR, or else you will be getting the JRF amount through UGC. In fact, their certificate also, JRF certificate also, details are a little bit different, how you will be able to get that eligibility, that JRF certificate. Eligible for LS? Yes, according to merit list published by CSIR, and eligible for LS according to followed by UGC. So those candidates who are qualifying for JRF NET, please note they are automatically eligible for LS as well. So when you're getting the JRF certificate, it's also eligible for LS. Fellowship for the JRF is provided either by CSIR or UGC as per the assignment or from the schemes with which they find an association. Candidates qualifying for JRF must have enrolled in PhD within 2 years of the declaration of result. The next stage is stage 4, which is interview. Qualified candidates who will be shortlisted on the basis of merit list, they'll have to face personal interviews in different institutions, laboratories also, or university departments. Now, during the personal interview, candidates are asked about their research proposal and evaluation of their academic records, even the previous project works which is done in the discipline-wise expert committees, they will be handling questions regarding that. So here the candidates are shortlisted on the basis of their performance in that personal interview. Institute to institute it can vary. There can be 2 to 3 rounds of interviews also. And only the fulfilling eligibility criteria by the candidate that may not guarantee the call for an interview. If you just submit the JRF certificate and your eligibility criteria, the institute, it rests on them the decision whether they'll call you for interview or not. The candidates will be called for interview only after screening on the basis of their criteria, which is set by those institutions or laboratory or university department. Yeah, preference definitely, it depends on the criteria set by organization, and preference will be given to those research proposals which are relevant to the research programs of laboratory institutes where candidate is applying, and most importantly, it should be of national importance. Apart from laboratory interest, it should be also for national importance. The next stage or the last stage is the award of fellowship. So fellowships will be provided only to those candidates who are able to get enrolled for PhD or JRF also, which will be later converted into PhD in research institutes, laboratories, universities within 2 years. So after the result is declared, you have 2 years of time, but it's wise not to wait for so much. I'll be telling you when you should start, how you should start the process, so that as soon as you qualify, within a few months only, you get enrolled in your JRF. So within this stage only, if you're getting enrolled, then the fellowship will be provided you when you send the paperworks to the fellowship giving body. The fellowship is awarded to the candidates only after the verification of necessary details of the examination, the research work, the topic related to research, with the concurrence of the institute to provide all the necessary facilities. The revised emoluments per month, it will be 31,000 for JRF and 35,000 for SRF. From 2019 it has changed. Earlier it was 25,000 for JRF and 28,000 for SRF. But now the amounts have been revised apart. This is apart from contingency grant, which you also get per year. Now the next very crucial thing is, those were the stages. Now let me just talk about some additional points which are very important, right? What should a qualified or expecting to qualify candidate prepare for? Now, expecting to qualify means you have already given your exam. At least a month will be required for the CSIR to publish the answer keys and then people to challenge them. Then the CSIR experts will verify the challenge, review them, and then finally they will publish the result. So at least a month will be required for that. This is extremely less time, because earlier it used to be pre-COVID, it used to be like 3-4 months. But now once NTA has taken over, the process has become much less time consuming. So within that month, what all you should do? So the first thing is, you can ideally start once your exam is over, or simultaneously when you start preparation from that time itself also, slowly you can do all this processes. Okay, so there is no bound timeline when you should start this. The earlier the better, and the better you do, the more chances you have for admissions. So first is decide on the area you want to work in. That's the most important, because for the next 3, 4 or even 5 years, you are going to be in this area. So it should be based on your interest. first of all your interest, your passion, whether you want to work in vaccines, you want to work in cancer biology, you want to work in developmental biology, you have to figure out what interests you, which research work interests you. The expertise also, what you have learned in your past degrees, or what you have done your project works on, the background, masters or bachelors, whatever project work you have done, or you have done any internship hands-on on some particular project, you worked as a associate or assistant in some research lab, right? So keep all this in mind, and then decide on what area you want to work in. The next thing is find out which all institutes are carrying out research in that particular area where you are interested in. So you have to make a hit list of the institutes. First of all, you have to make a list of all the institutes where these researches are going on, provided you can go and apply there. Okay, so if you're located in north but you want to apply somewhere in south, first consider where you will be able to go there or not, right? Whether you will be able to relocate. So keeping on the location, the reputation of the institutes, and also your preference, which is where you will be more comfortable. Like if you want to relocate, if you're okay to relocate, whether you will be comfortable there. It's because you have to adjust to the situation, the scenario, environment, and on top of that you have to get into a new field of research, a new work area. So considering all these things, you have to first make a list of institutes where you will be comfortable to work in, where the research is getting carried out in that particular area of your interest. Okay, and then you shortlist. You make a short list of the institutes where you can actually go and apply. Okay, so that is the next step. And the third step is which scientists are working in that area. Now from those institutes which you have shortlisted, there will be several scientists which are working in different segments of that area. So you select which scientist working under which scientist fascinates you or excites you, and you feel that you will be getting recognition if you are in that particular lab. So figure out all these things, and also look at the websites. When you are doing that, you should look up at the websites and how many papers are getting published over there. What is the scientist background, the reputation, or the kind of work he or she is doing. So look up all those things and be ready. In fact, you can also go through the papers which are published, what techniques are getting used, what research methodology is being followed over there. So this will all help you in the interview process, because they will start from the basic. If you are okay with the basic, they will slowly work upon to the area in which their lab is working, and then slowly, if you keep performing well, they will slowly push up to the research level, and in fact they can even ask you to prepare a SOP, abstract, or even a research proposal. So better to keep that also ready. Once all these three you have figured out, then you know exactly what you want to do. If you already have something in mind, okay, in this lab, because the scientist is working in this area, I want to do a thing of my own, you can propose something. So maybe the scientist will like it, and based on that only he or she will recruit you. Immediately you will be selected in the interview. So these things matter a lot, and this will take time. So trust me, as much time as you can focus on this. Along with, as I said, if you start along with your preparation, then that will give you a good 5 to 6 months of that, plus additional 1 month when you wait for your results. You can exclusively work on these areas. Okay, and when I say that institutes, you also need to keep a look when their admission forms are out, released, what time you have to fill them up, what time they'll call for interview, when the admissions are taking place, all those. But that will happen once you have already shortlisted the institutes, right? Okay, so next steps after qualification. These are also very, very important steps. Okay, after qualification, yes, you definitely celebrate, but every 6 months, many students clear the JRF examinations and hunt for PhD positions. But while the search for a good institute, subject of interest, and good supervisor itself is also mind-boggling, but then there is also a process of activating the fellowship, getting stipend. So you must know what is the process at least, right? So after the examination, CSIR declares the result on its official site within 2 months of examination. Afterwards, CSIR issues individual scorecards to all candidates. The scorecards can be availed from the official site of CSIR through a newly posted link which will be there on the site, and the mark statement has the examination date and date of declaration of result printed on it, right? So download the JRF scorecard, which is the mark statement. As I mentioned, the results are already out. Scorecards of the candidates who appeared in the exam are already now hosted on the CSIR NTA site. This was from the notification which was recently published by CSIR on 28th of October 2022. So candidates can log in, whoever applied for the exam, whoever have written the exam, they can log into the website and view, download or print their scorecard. So this is the first thing you do as of now if you have not already done it, right? Candidates are advised to be in touch with the CSIR website for further details, and if any query, they have also given help desk number or even to write at NTA, and constantly keep watch out for the notifications. What will be the next step, like what you have to do, where you have to send the details for availing your JRF certificate. So that's the next step what you have to do. Okay, apply to CSIR for JRF certificate. I'll talk about it in the next slide. So just wanted to say that if you have got the merit list from CSIR, if you have qualified JRF from CSIR, then you have to apply for the JRF certificate either through post or through mail. That will also be mentioned by CSIR itself. So all you have to do is you have to follow the website notifications. That's all. Okay. As I mentioned, you can be registered to Biotecnika Time, subscribe to that, and you can get the details. UGC JRF gets hard copy of certificate directly. Please note the ones who are from UGC, but still you can verify on the website once again. But this was what it was before. They get hard copy of certificate. You don't have to apply directly. They will send through post to your permanent address. But this might take time. Some within 2-3 months they will send it. Now for LS certificate, those who are qualifying only for LS, they don't have to apply for any LS certificate as such. They will have to download the e-certificate that you have qualified LS. That's all. Okay, and that can be downloaded from the NTA website. You have to provide roll number, date of birth, and download it and take printout, right? So my suggestion is that once you get these things, whatever it is, JRF certificate or LS, you better take a colored printout. Okay, and keep it accessible with you, and also keep a digital access in your phone. Like whenever you need it, you can show it somewhere, or you can produce it whenever you need it, right? So that's the second step. And the third step is, now you have to apply for admission to different institutes. Yes, if you fill up the criteria set by that institute, you will be shortlisted and you will be called for interviews, right? So I hope you have all noted down these important steps. Let me just talk about for application to CSIR for JRF certificate. Yeah, you need some documents to apply for CSIR JRF certificate. Your date of birth proof, which is mentioned. So this is the next task, okay, because it will be required when applying for an institute to a PhD position, and even to avail the award letter from CSIR, that is for JRF activation of fellowship, you will need this certificate, right? So CSIR will release the official notification to issue the JRF certificate, usually 2 to 3 months of the declaration of results. So now that your results have been declared, within 2 to 3 months, they will send all the details, how to get your JRF certificate. So watch out for that notification. The notification asks the candidates to submit some documents to CSIR either by email or by post. So that they will mention, okay. And then CSIR will send you JRF certificate by post. You will get a hard copy. This process may take some 2 weeks to 1 month. So immediately you start off the process once the CSIR releases notification, because you don't know where to send. If they are saying by post, then which address? Because CSIR will have many departments, what was applicable 2 years before, that address may not be applicable now. They may send to a different department, right? And also if it is through mail, then which email you should send and which are documents. So that all generally you'll have to look out for. So one can also submit these documents by hand also. You can go to CSIR. If someone is residing nearby, they can do that also, and you can collect the certificate on spot as well. Okay, so what all things are required? Date of birth, which you have mentioned in form, make sure it is correct. You can also submit your 10th class certificate as a proof of date of birth. Then 55% score in your masters, that eligibility criteria. So you'll have to procure the certificate of last degree, MSc, MTech or BTech, and or provisional or degree of postgrad or final mark sheet of postgrad, whatever it is. Then the next is scorecard, that is marks statement printout what you got from the website. Okay, mark statement or the scorecard what you have just taken printout. Category certificate, EWS certificate, income certificate, which wherever it is applicable, SC, ST or OBC, PWD, EWS, whatever is applicable, you have to give that proof as well. And a passport size photo also they might sometimes ask, and sometimes they will ask xerox copy of exam application form. In case you don't have it, I think admit card will also work. So again, that will be mentioned in notification. So if they are saying by post, then you will have to see the address properly, put all this in the envelope and then send it to CSIR. Don't forget to keep a copy with yourself as a proof also, and check on website which address to send, because it keeps on changing, so they will send notifications. Admission for JRF PhD in most institutes happen twice a year. So once you have got the scorecard, you have got the JRF certificate, next step is you have to apply for institutions, right, for interview calling. So this happens generally in January, where the admission application form starts releasing somewhere in August and September. Then in July, another admission set starts. Admission application forms start releasing in April, May onwards. And in some places it will happen only in July. January may not happen. Okay, so you have to keep a look on the institute websites when their forms are coming out. It will vary institute to institute. Some institute procedure is completely different. How they will take admission, they might conduct their own exam, okay, or you may have to just write a research proposal. They will call for interview if they like it, right? So how they take admission is different. You can just have a look at them, but most of them will ask for CSIR qualification. Procedure of admission may also vary. How they, because sometimes two to three round of interviews, as I said, that also might be there, or they may ask you to present your research proposal also. So many things can be different. So big question is interview or direct admission, right? So where you get direct admission? To be honest, there are very less places where they'll take direct admission, and if at all they are taking, means the place won't be so much reputed, okay? The research work and all won't be so much reputed. So top institutes call only JRF qualified students for interview. Yeah, and if somebody is calling without JRF qualification, then probably they might conduct their own exam, or as I said, they might have their own criteria to get admission. Okay, now next is, okay, you have got selected for the interview, fine, very good, but there also a very important thing is how to select your supervisor, how to select your guide, which is very important. That is going to decide whether you will survive or you will be leaving your PhD with utter frustration. So what you have to do is you have to select guide before taking admission. If more than one scientist working in the same area, okay, or you got offer from more than one lab, then what to do? On what basis you will do? Best is interact with the students of that lab in that particular department. So wherever you got call from, whichever scientist lab, you have to maybe probably visit there, okay, and you have to check out with the students who are there. Yes, you are allowed to visit during interviews and all. So during some people will do during interviews only. For example, if you're going to IISc Bangalore, so when you are called for interview, there will be a lot of people, and the interview sometimes takes place in front of the lab only. There will be some room. So in the lab itself, you can see that the students who are already working there, and you can just talk to them. It's not about taking their inquiry or something, but then you can talk to them definitely, that I am expecting to get admission over here. Can I clarify a few details from you, right? So there is always a polite way. Clarify the following things. Guide scientific approach. What is his approach? Is it independent, or is it dominating, or is it that my way or highway, right? So you must know whether he or she will give you the freedom to think and work independently, because you're in research, right? You should have the capacity of thinking independently. Then funding issues. Is there any funding issues or not? Yeah, if you're getting fellowship, then it's fine. But as I said, some institutes, they will conduct their exam on their own, where they will give funding from the lab itself. The scientist's lab itself, the funding will come, not from CSIR or UGC bodies. So in that case, whether there are funding issues or not, whether you get timely or not, that is also there. How many publications are there? Very, very important, right? And in which journal publication, whether the journal is big enough, reputed or not. What is the frequency? How often the publications go there? Because your name is also going to come. So accordingly, how many collaborations will be there with the lab? So these all are very important things. Please have a detailed understanding of all this. Then fellowship award letter. Now you have to get yourself registered in a recognized university. That is the next step where you want to take admission. You have cleared the interview, you have selected your guide. So what you have to do is fellowship. You have to activate the fellowship. So it will be awarded only after the receipt of necessary details of qualifying degree examination, proposed place of research work, and then research topic, name of the supervisor, and also the concurrence of the institute to provide all the necessary details. So for that you have to fill up an undertaking form. Okay, so in that all the details you have to fill up, and also you have to download and fill PhD registration certificate and get attested by the institute. So all this, it will be available in the CSIR website only. And along with these two forms, you have to submit self-attested photocopies of some documents at CSIR help desk, like again 10th 12th marks card, BSc MSc mark sheet, caste EWS certificate if applicable, GRF certificate, date of birth, some PAN card, Aadhaar card, and most importantly you will need a bank account, so bank passbook details also. Right, you might have to take a referral letter from guide or letter from institute where you have taken admission, and the bank account which will be linked with your fellowship amount. The amount will come over there. Again, process varies from institute to institute, so kindly check what can be done and send all these details for your fellowship activation. Once they verify your details, yes, you are active, your JRF will be activated. You will start receiving money in your account monthly. Award, first of all, they'll give you the activation award letter. Keep a copy to yourself, to your supervisor, and also to HR department. Now, some students while doing PhD, they appear for CSIR, after which they will activate their fellowship. So for that you have to go to the admin block. Again, you have to provide the GRF certificate, do all the paperwork, and send the details, so that now you can also get stipend for your research work, right? And there is something also which is called as continuation certificate. From time to time you have to send that, okay, you're still enrolled and you're still continuing with your research, right? So then you will start getting, once you are activated, JRF is activated, you will start getting monthly bills, monthly amount from CSIR. And you can also send the bills through a HR department. CSIR will process those bills and directly send the money to your bank account. So that was all, Biotechnicans and our dear subscribers. I hope the process was understandable by you. Do not forget the important points and keep doing that in time. Thank you so much.